Welcome to Danimal's house, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at a 3039 tractor with a snowblower mounted on the front on the 3-point, and we're going to take that off and get the loader back on. We're going to see how quickly we can take care of that. Let's get started. So here's what the project is looking like. It's December 26th in Wisconsin, and as it turned out, we did not need the snowblower yet this season. So I have a need to get the loader on so I can move something with the pallet forks. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at this A-frame attachment on the 3039 tractor, and we're going to take this snowblower off of the tractor, and then we're going to move over and we're going to put the loader on the tractor, and then vice versa. We're going to see how easy and simple it is to take care of that. So these are the elements we have to disconnect on the tractor for the snowblower. I've got 2 hydraulics going forward. That's going to take care of the chute mechanism. And then I got 2 more hydraulics that are going to work that 3-point. We take a look at this 3-point here. Really all I have to do is disconnect the PTO. I need to take these pins out so I can lower these arms off. And then I need to take the top link apart and disconnect my electrical. So that shouldn't be too difficult at all. And then once we get the thing off, we're going to take a look at how we get those arms off, because those 3-point arms have to come off in order to get that loader back on. But it is a pretty quick process. All right, so the first thing I'm going to take care of here is I'm going to get these hydraulics off of here. I'm just going to get them out of this little holder bracket that we've got here. And then, you know, it's always easy to work with hydraulics when you've got the pressure off of them. And so I just usually yank on those and I pull those off. Always have a towel nearby if you gotta clean those up. And then basically, in this case, I'm gonna put the loader right back on, so I'm obviously not gonna worry about putting those in. And then I am gonna leave these in because I have to use the 3-point hydraulics. But I just wanna get this loose real quick. So we're gonna take these and get these safely stored. Then what I'm going to do is grab the electrical here. That's for my actuator on my chute. I'm going to get that disconnected gently and out of the way. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 3-point top link, and then I'm going to get these pins out of here. And that's going to allow me to set down without too much trouble. Just set that on top here. Then what I'm going to do now is I have to come over here and I have to pull this pin so that this can drop. I'm pretty sure it goes all the way down, and I've got a pallet set up that I can move so that I can nice and easily just drop that on there. And then I've got the tractor off, but I should still be able to lower that down. And as long as that matches up pretty good, that shouldn't be much of an issue to just lower that down. And I can just take a good look at my pallet, and I don't see any issue there. Now, if I have it all sitting right, that takes the pressure off my top link, so I can drop that. Then I can take my PTO off, and where's my rig here? I gotta make sure I don't get that all full of dirt. It's a bummer with having a gravel bottom. And now I should pretty much be ready to have this drop off of there. So these are pretty tight, I would say, overall. The amount of space between this pin and what you've got here is really not all that much. So any kind of binding at all from being crooked or otherwise having pressure on there, it kind of binds pretty good. I mean, I guess it's good and bad. You don't want a lot of space there. So I'm just gonna take this and hopefully I should be able to drop this down. And there you go. So I am disconnected now. I'm gonna go ahead and back up. Back up and get out of here. Look at this front right here. All right, so these things are basically independent arms that are attached via a couple of pins on each side. So basically, I'm going to take this pin out over here And this one's a little tricky because the hydraulic ram is right there. And then I'm just gonna wiggle a little bit and, well, actually it looks like it's binding. So I think I have to lift, I must have to lift the thing up in order to get that angle right. So I'll just lift that up real quick. Let's see if that makes a difference. Yep, okay, so now I got that out, and then I can just take that whole thing right out of there. And then we're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. We're gonna drop that pin right here out, and I'm just gonna lift up a little. These pins come out, and there you have it. So that's pretty painless overall. Now we should be completely free and ready to go hook up the loader. So let's go get the loader. Hooking up the loader, I just need to be slow and easy. I need to be headed for the center. And what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of taking my eyes and I want the bottom of that loader. I really want to point that towards these little arms on the side. And I don't need to look at both. If I'm going to hit one, I'm going to hit the other one. So I'm just going to head in, nice and slow, kind of pay attention, make sure I'm on the right track. And then once I get in there, I got to hook my hydraulics up. So I'd say right about there, I'm pretty close. What's going to happen is those are going to come forward and down when you set the thing down, take the pressure off. Everything is being held up on the loader by this little leg right here. And so once we set that down, that'll all go down together. So let's get going on the hydraulics real quick. Okay, here's where we're looking at our hydraulics. So we got color coded here. Everything should match up the way it's supposed to. So I got to get my 3-point. Probably got to take the pressure off of that and get that wiggled out of there. Some of these are a little tricky. If you get too much pressure on there, or you get any type of like debris or sand or something in there, a lot of times that really kind of makes it for more work. But if you got a nice clean fitting, there's not too much trouble with trying to make that all work. So basically I've got my 4 fittings here. I'm going to start off on the inside, try to make sure I got them all folded right so they're not overlapped. I'm just going to, what I do is I take my thumb and my finger, and I got big hands, but I kind of get it to where I'm pushing in, and then I kind of get my body weight going where I give it a good shove. If you're in a standing position and you're only pushing, so a lot of times that doesn't like to go in there. So I just kind of give it all one. Oh no, that didn't go now. Okay, so then I one at a time get those all together. And there, now our hydraulics are good. So now we'll lower this thing down. All right, now we're ready to lower this thing down. So I'm just gonna start it up, and I'm gonna go down just a little bit, push it forward, and kind of getting ready to have this meet up. By the looks of it, we need to go a little bit to the right. We'll just keep going. Okay, I'm gonna have to probably get on a tractor now. Looks like I gotta back up just a little bit because I overshot it, so we'll just back up a little. That should fall down when it's ready. You're kind of flirting with just like, you know, a puzzle piece here. I mean, you need everything to fit on there just right. And it's one of those things where if you don't have it right, don't crank it with the hydraulics. It's crazy. The thing is meant to go together perfectly. So just kind of wiggle around, jiggle around, and all of a sudden it'll fall. I'm on there. And so now what I can do is just keep pushing forward. And that front end, little arm, is going to come up. And it's going to keep coming up. The bucket's getting closer to the tractor. Okay, now if I felt like I could drive forward, if I wanted, if I was going to hit something, looks like I'm going to hit my ladder. but at a certain point, you're going to lock the front, and it's going to want to bring the front end of the tractor off the ground. And the last step is just to take these little pins in here, and we'll try to get a better view. Let's change the angle and get a little better view real quick. Alright, here's a good look at that locking mechanism on this loader. You're looking at it right here. As long as you've got that pressure right and those tires are off the tractor or off the front of the ground, that really should just fall right down into place. We look at the other one over here. I should be able to just let that fall right down into place. And once that's in place, then when I go with the bucket and I pull back, now my front end comes up. Okay, so when the front end comes up, basically you know you're connected securely and you can do what you want to do with the machine. And so I can go up, down, left, right, all my stuff is all connected. So it's pretty simple, seamless process to get this bucket back on the tractor. So I'm going to get the bucket off, use my paddle forks, do what I need to do, and then I'm going to get that snowblower loaded back on. Alright, so it's time for me to get this loader back off. I think what I needed to do here, basically what I'm looking to do is get this thing set into place, and I need to get it down. So I'm going to go ahead and get the thing down onto my pieces of 2x4. I got to get my stabilizers up again, and then we're going to go forward here. I got to watch it that I don't hit. I got to watch it that I don't hit the building, so I got to back up a little bit. I kind of got to want to hit. Kind of want to hit my 2x4 too. I got my pressure off, take my hydraulics apart. And I'll get set back up for the snowblower attachment. Alright, so I got my first arm on. This one on the right is kind of tricky because this hydraulic ram is right in the way. But if you position it right, you can do it. And if you got a little patience, you can get this little clip in. I want to kind of show you how these bolts work for this A-frame. It's a little bit unusual, I guess I would say, but it is completely logical and functional. So if we take a look at what we've got here, you're looking at two bolts and then a little plate that has this go in like that. And then once you push them through, then there's this little piece that'll stick through this hole, and then you put a little pin in there. And so I guess that is the safest way, or the way it made the most sense for kind of John Deere to make that all work. But once you get that set up, it just fits in pretty simple. Wiggle it around a little, and then basically you just put this pin in and you're good to go. So that's all you really need to do to attach that front. And now we're going to get the snowblower set back on here. So I'm going to find myself in here, and once I get to a certain point, I should be able to just lift up. But like I was saying before, it's pretty tight when it comes to how those little brackets fit in there, and you know, you kind of got to mess around with it a little bit. I mean, the thing is it's so easy. Like, it barely takes any weight at all for the snowblower to tip forward. There it went. Okay. That's a pretty good example of what I'm talking about. It barely takes any force at all to tip this thing forward. So I mean, if it takes 20 or 25 pounds of pressure to tip it forward, I mean, what's 25 pounds to this if it binds? It's nothing. So you just kind of jiggle a little bit and all of a sudden the stuff goes in there. So now my adjustable top length essentially is going to be way off. It's going to be way long right now. So I'm going to have to set myself back down. But that's not a big deal because I can just get these pins in here and I'll be able to set that down to the way I need to. And it's not going to be a problem at all to get that in there. I usually just count how many times, like once I get that top length set the way I want, just kind of count. Actually pretty close. I might as well put the PTO on right now. Kind of keep all the dirt out of there. Dirt is not your friend when it comes to hydraulics or PTOs. It can really be a bugger if you got dirt in any one of those pieces. So, actually, I just realized this right now. I got a PTO holder over on this side, so I wouldn't have had to screw around putting it in here. But I was going right back on with it anyway. So, I think I'm just going to set it down a little bit. That's probably all I need. I'll get my little leg lifted up here. Shouldn't be a problem with storage. I hit. Yeah, we're doing good here. So I'll get this in here. I have to lengthen it just ever so slightly. Either that or just pull on it a little bit. Just talking about 1/8 inch or something. And I think I only went like a half a turn here. I kind of got my mark here. So that should be it. Should be good. I'll have to connect my electrical. I'll get that going. That's just a 2 conductor. Looks like that's got to turn. And then the last part is going to be these hydraulics. So I got to have the hydraulics connected for that chute. And I think I want to put like a zip tie on here. I don't know, I'm not sure how that's going to go. I'll probably do a video at some point once we get some snow around. It's Wisconsin and it's December. You'd think we'd have snow by now, but for whatever reason we don't. So, you know, in actuality, it's just fine. It's just not great for the excitement surrounding a new snowblower. Alright, I'm going to use our crooked angle. There, that went. And that went. Okay, good. So we'll get these all connected here. And I should be good to go here. I'll get it lifted up. And I'm ready to roll. So that's basically how quick and easy it is to take a snowblower off a 3039 tractor and get your loader loaded back up. And then take that back off and put your snowblower back on. So it's one of the things I love about John Deere is the versatility of the implements. And once you figure out all those little tricks, it's really not a bad deal at all. And if you got patience and you know what you're doing, it can be real easy. So hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please click. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next episode of Danimal's House.